What is going on? What is going on? It's your boy, Julien Stoutt. I'm not going to even go through all the introductions, so y'all should know by now who I am. But I am here to use mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition to help you be the best you. And we're about to take off because class is in session. This is where mindset, encouragement, accountability, and nutrition comes from. By the way, if you didn't catch on, there you go. So what's going on? Today is Thursday, March 20th. Today is one of my children's birthdays. So happy birthday. Not going to put you on blast like that. But if you want me to do that next time, I promise I will. But you see the title in the thumbnail. As a personal trainer, as a physical education teacher, as somebody who trains people to become the best versions of themselves humanly possible physically, I know a thing or two about competition. Not only in the sense that I am a world record powerlifter, but I've also helped other individuals get in shape for a sport or two. And in that process, one of the things that, as a coach, your job is to hold people accountable, right? You're supposed to hold people accountable. And when dealing with situations such as this, the level of accountability that people lack, or the lack of courage to hold people accountable, it's disheartening, it's sad, it's even discerning. I mean, it's like unnerving. It's like just, ugh. It rubs me raw. Because there are things that you might disagree with whether or not you did right or wrong. You know, for instance, if you thought it was right to smack somebody upside the head, you might believe that. Now, the one thing I will do is I will respect you if you stand on business. If you believe that this person had it coming, that they deserved everything that they got, and you're willing to take the consequences as such, there's nothing I can do or say to change your mind. Maybe. I might be able to change your mind if I get you to see things from the perspective that I want you to see it from. But ultimately, that does not mean that I actually held you accountable. But if you know better, If you know that this is the guidelines, you know that this is not the way, I want you to do, and you agree with me, then my ability to hold you accountable becomes that much easier. Does that make sense? Now, in this situation, where this young lady got smacked upside the head with a metal pipe, I'm not going to call it a baton, because although it is a track baton, essentially it's a metal pipe. The question is, was it accidental or was it poor sportsmanship? Now, I've reviewed this video ad nauseum as somebody who studies biomechanics, as somebody who looks at human movement on a regular basis, analyzes human movement to a molecular degree. I have to say that I personally don't think it was an accident. Why? Is it because I just feel some type of way about somebody who doesn't do the right thing? Because, like, say for instance, because somebody got hit in the head, I feel like I have to jump into the camp of somebody who was, quote unquote, the victim? Not necessarily. Because there are some times somebody got their behinds whooped and they earned it. Somebody got socked in the jaw. While they might have to get suspended because they socked somebody in the jaw, that other person earned it. Especially if you bore witness to the ongoings, the constants. So say for instance, a child is getting bullied. The child is getting bullied relentlessly. That child does everything in their power to avoid the bullying. The child does everything in their power to not confront or engage with these individuals, but these individuals, or this individual, does everything in their power to find a way to interact with this person. And finally, they break. And they didn't break the way you thought they would break. They didn't break in a way where they crumbled, they folded, they cried in their milk, they hid in the locker room, they stayed home. They didn't break that way. They broke their fist over your face. Now everybody realizes, oh snap, I didn't think little Johnny was going to do that. I didn't think little Johnny had it in him. Well, the truth is little Johnny always had it in him. Little Johnny knew what he would be capable. He was capable of high levels of violence. But y'all kept pushing. So guess what? That FAFO gets real. Then there's going to be a consequence, of course, 100%, because that's the policies now. Back when I was a kid, wasn't that way. You started a fight with me, I ended it, you go home. It's not my fault that I finished it, you started it. And unfortunately, we have tried to deviate away from that when legally, that's exactly what happens. I was defending myself. I didn't assault them. They assaulted me, and it just so happened that they got the worst end of it. I guess they better choose their victims better. But this is not that case. This is not that case at all. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to share my screen with you. So What are we doing? I don't know what the heck was going on there for a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back up to the news. As a matter of fact, I'm going to replay this video. Give me 1 second because I want to make sure we get the right thing here, because right now it seems like a commercial's going to pull up, and I don't want that to happen. I wish I could skip it. Actually, you know what? I might be able to skip it. Okay, here we go. She is the second leg of this race, so you're gonna see that here shortly. There you go. Here we go. Young ladies is right here, right there, right? They're close, but they're in their own lanes right now. Nobody is encroaching on each other's lanes. They're about to get close to each other, but they're not that close. Anybody who knows anything about running track will tell you this is close, but it ain't that close, right? As you can see at the turn. So first of all, if you know anything about track, the turn is longer the further out you are, right? The further out on the track you are, the more distance you actually have to travel. The young lady who does the assaulting is on the innermost part of the track, which means she has the shorter end of the track. The young lady on the outside, as you can see, if you look right here, the young lady's shoulder is already past the other young lady's shoulder, which means she's already ahead of her. If she doesn't know, so if you know you run track and you're on the turn and somebody already has, ground on you, when y'all hit the straightaway, it ain't gonna be pretty, even if y'all maintain the same speed, because what's gonna happen is she's gonna be out further when she comes out of the turn, right? Based on physics, it's kind of like the centrifuge effect. You get whipped out harder when you come out of that turn because you have a longer trajectory out of your turn. So because you have a longer trajectory out of your turn, there's more energy going into your turn. So therefore, you're going to be heading straighter, right? But anyway, I digress. Here we go. Again, so now she slips past her. Shoulders it. She's ahead by a shoulder. We already know that. Now look. We're going to stop right there. We are going to stop right here. She's winding up, dude. There's no... The other thing is this. If your baton, you have a metal baton, one of two things is going to happen if you ran up the back of somebody with it. That person is going to jolt because it's a metal pipe running up somebody's back. Like you almost got jabbed with a metal pipe, right? You're not going to just keep running. That's part one. Part two, if you look at how, I'm going to replay this video again. And I want you to pay attention to how arms are moving while they're running. There is no real way, because when you see the rest of this part, because now she's winded up. If you look at her wrist, right? I'm going to come out of this. If you look at her wrist, I'm trying to find something that I could use real quick. Actually, beautiful. I do have something. Perfect. This. If you're running, first thing is when you're running like this. You might extend out, but when you snap back, you're going to snap. You're going to snap up. You're going to snap, right? You're not snapping. You're not going to snap and wind out. Look at her hand. This is letting me know what her intent is. Jeez, I almost lost my... Give me a second. You're literally running. She is back here. Elbow near her lat, flexed at a 90-degree angle, meaning she's ready to extend back, follow through, bink, right upside the head. Boop. Okay? Let's keep going, because I'm telling you what's about to happen. Because based on the mechanics of her movement, it already suggests she's doing it on purpose. Now look, remember, I told you at the turn, the distance you get more distance. If I'm ahead of you before we make the straightaway, I'm already ahead of you. And I'm ahead of you by a considerable speed. There is no need for your elbow and your shoulder to extend out that far. There's no reason for it. None. Unless you are trying to hit somebody. That's all there is. You're trying to hit somebody. So, as you can see, look at the other young lady right here. Look at her elbow. My bad. Here we go. And now you look right here. Full extension of the elbow and shoulder. And she's reaching out to the side. It's not like she's keeping trajectory of her arm swing. This young lady on the inside, on the outside, she's trying to maintain momentum on the outside, so her elbow is extending, but is extending out to maintain balance in the turn. That is not what this young lady is doing. Her hand is way above where it needs to be in order to run with an arm swing. Here we go. So now look at the distance. I want you to see something. I want you to see this clearly. Look at the distance between her lead foot and that young lady's rear foot. She clearly has a distance between her, meaning she was about to pass her. Well, no, she already passed her. We already established that she passed already, but even if you weren't sure that she got ahead of her, she definitely got ahead of her. And here's the other thing, right? This is why, first of all, children, let me go back to the main screen, because not only children, but adults who think like children. Let me explain something to you. If you're going to lie, make sure you understand the full extent of the possibilities in where your lie would be plausible. Okay? So let me get this straight. We're running. My arm runs up your back. And in the process of my arm running up your back, my arm extends out forward, smacks you upside the back of the head. Let me ask you a question. How is it that if my arm ran up the back of ran up your back, how is it that the person that I hit had such a distance that I can reach out and hit them in the back of the head? If we're close and I ran up the back of your head, ran up your back and lost my balance and I fell forward and I was falling forward, I would still not hit you. I would hit you in the back of your head with my fist because I still have the baton. See, right here, still have the baton, right? So I run up your back. You're right next to me, right? You're right here. I run up behind you and I lost my balance. Bink, bink, even if my hand is still going to be a part of the contact. But why, if I'm making contact with you, why did I have to extend out? Why did I have to extend out? Because that person was ahead of me. So there's no way that I could have made contact with that young lady's back, propel her forward, and reach out and bust her upside the head with a metal pipe. Because that is what that is. It's a metal pipe. We could call it a baton. It sounds benign when you call it a baton, but it's a metal pipe. So, I'm going to show you what a track baton looks like, so that way you understand fully. So here we go. This is a track baton. Let me show you. That is a track baton. It is a metal pipe. Aluminum. It's an aluminum pipe. And as you can see, it has a thickness about it. It's not flimsy. That is a sturdy piece of equipment. You could bust a window with it, for sure. Break glass, crack a skull. There's a lot you can do damage with this thing. Okay? Let me go back, move that back over. So, I want y'all to understand that when I say it is a metal pipe, I'm not I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to make this more than what it is. I'm not trying to exacerbate the situation further. I want y'all to understand genuinely what's going down. So now let's go back. I want you to see how everybody's moving their arms in the race, because this is where you'll begin to see what I'm talking about. So now pay attention to people running. Zoom in. Notice their elbows are flexed, they extend out a little bit, but they cross body. They're crossing body. So there's various techniques on how people run depending on their biomechanics, right? So this is where I'm going to nerd out a little bit here. So in biomechanics, there are several different ways somebody can run. They can run awkwardly, or they could run with a level of finesse, or they could be a power runner, or they could be a speed runner. A speed runner has immaculate form and technique. A power runner, somebody who's running hard and generating speed through force, will use every ounce of their body to run. Now, the young lady on the outside here, she is running with form. This young lady might be running with a little bit more power, but if you look, crossing body, her arms are crossing her body. She's not running like this. She's running like this. So the young lady on the inside is running with power. The young lady on the outside is running with technique. Look at her elbows. Look at her elbows. 90-90. Look right here. She's got 90-degree elbows, 90-degree elbows. Full extension on the legs, and knee drive. Everything, when you're running, you have to have knee drive and leg explosiveness, but she's tighter in her technique. This one is running with everything she has. Hard. Again, 90-90. 90-90. Now remember, she's turning. They're turning now. So now she's swinging her arms out to the side, not out and forward. Again, but look at where her elbows are. Even though her elbows are to the outside, her elbow is still bent. When she follows through, she's going to pull her elbow back and tighten up again. But because she's making this turn, pay attention. This young lady here got some pretty good technique right here. This young lady right here has some really good technique. Elbows are bent, tight elbows on the way up, minimizing how much force minimizing the amount of force she's wasting through arm movement. She is doing the thing. I expected nothing less for her to win this leg of the race, and she does. So she jumps in on the inside. Notice, she's running with good technique right now. Elbows at her side. Elbows at the side, and she's running with those elbows. She's generating force with the elbows. Nope. Yeah, she wound up and hit her. For the fact that Orange almost lost this race, that is crazy. Old girl was mad. That exchange was great. She almost chased her down. Look at that arm swing. Okay. You saw it for yourself. If you haven't seen the video in its entirety, or if you only seen it in clips, you saw it. You saw it for yourself. Now what? The thing is, there's more to the story. So, not only did this young lady suffer a cracked skull and a concussion, but then, to make matters worse, she gets the highest form of disrespect after that. I want to get the other young lady's name because we already know the young lady who did the assaulting. Kaylin Tucker. So Miss Tucker, I sincerely am sorry that you had to go through that. That is not something that anybody should have to go through. I don't care. So I know that there's a part of me that wants to know a few things, because being at the level of in education that I'm in education, I know how students talk. I know how students behave. Even the good kids have a mean streak. At least a mean streak in competition. They'll talk the most trash. I don't know what was said before the race. I don't know if she said something to her while she was passing her. She could have made a noise like meow. She could have been like, I'm about to pass you, and said something derogatory. She could have, I don't know. She could have just been running hard and just passed her. She might have told her, you ain't beating me today. Before the race. She might be the best runner in Virginia. Or she might be a known runner in Virginia. These two schools might be rivals in terms of track and field. I don't know any of this. And I don't care. It doesn't matter. Not at this point. But what I will say is, if what I just put out there is a possibility, it still does not excuse Aleela Everett for hitting Kaylin Tucker in the head with a metal pipe. There's no justification for it. And these are strong young ladies. These are not, these ain't little wallflowers. These are women, or young ladies, excuse me. They're not women yet. Well, one is a woman. She's 18. The other one is not. The one is 18. The other one is 16. But these are strong young women. And as a result, you swinging that metal pipe is not the same as the average person swinging a pipe. On top of that, you're damn near adults anyway. You're pretty strong anyway. You're going to hurt somebody. But now take it a step further, where these are track athletes. These are people who train extremely hard. I assure you, they're stronger than the average female of their size. So, needless to say, assault and battery charges were filed. But you'll be surprised to find out whom made these charges.
Tonight, the community is rallying around the Portsmouth athlete at the center of this viral video. The clip appears to show icy Norcom track star Alayla Everett hit another runner with a baton during a state championship race earlier this month. Everett, who is now facing a misdemeanor assault and battery charge, tearfully addressed the crowd tonight, saying what happened was an accident. But the family of the athlete who got hit says the strike left her with a concussion. Shane Fordham has more.
I want you to see that real quick. Let's rewind that back a little bit. You are facing assault and battery charges. A rally is being held for you. You are crying. But then you have to cover up your mouth because you're smiling?
Her with a concussion.
I want you to see it right there. Right there. No, that's not a cry. That's a smile. Because you think you're getting away with something. Because at this moment, you've got a community surrounding you thinking that you're the victim. Because they're taking your word for it that this was an accident. So because they're taking your word for it, as though it was an accident, the community at large comes through. Now, here's the thing that kills me. As a community, how can you do that watching this video? Do your eyes deceive you? Or is it that you are either feigning ignorance or you are ignorant to the fact that you can clearly see there's a wind up? This is not a situation where you can see that there's a shred of truth to her claim. She did not lose her balance. She was not falling forward. It's one thing if she was falling forward and her arms and she flailed. You've seen people who are in running track who seem like they are appearing to fall. If they're, you can see it. But this ain't it. This is not the situation to which somebody was falling and that's what happened. She was upright the whole time. Arm goes back, elbow forward, follow through. It's like she was throwing a football. That's not the same as falling forward. What, you think you're running that fast that nobody can see it? Everybody in the crowd has slow motion cameras, unfortunately for you. But anyway.
As more.
The community held a rally today here at IC Norcom High School to show support for Layla Everett and her family.
We stand for Layla Everett! We stand for Layla Everett!
This is a good time to show that we can stand behind this young lady and show we support her.
Layla Everett was running the 4x200 event in the Virginia High School League Championships when the incident happened. The video shows Everett swing a baton, which made contact with Brookville High School junior Kaylin Tucker in the back of her head.
I just felt a bang on my head, and then I fell off the track immediately.
Layla's father, Genoa Everett, says the incident was accidental, and Tucker came too close to his daughter when coming around the curve, causing Layla to lose balance. Tucker's mother told ABC News she doesn't believe it was an accident.
To see that they kept running and she not stop and check on my daughter, that was the part where I was like, it couldn't have been an accident.
On Wednesday, we learned from the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office from the city of Lynchburg that a petition was issued for assault and battery. Since the footage has gone viral, the Everett family says Layla has received backlash from across the nation and has even received death threats.
So now, this is the part where, as an educator, as a human being, and as a black man, I'm going to say this specifically. What happened might be abhorrent. What happened might be disgusting. What happened might be unnerving. But to issue death threats is a whole nother situation. To be shouting racial slurs, I'm going to make sure you understand that there's no possibility that racial slurs are being thrown around by the very same people that look like Layla. I'm just going to say it out there. I'm going to put it bluntly. There's no possible way that what's taking place, that those types of noises and shouts from the crowd are things that are coming from people that look like Layla. So what do I mean? This ain't coming from black people. The death threats might. And more than likely, there are people who knows Kaylin. People who went to her, who goes to her school, went to her school, patronizes her school. People who know, like, and trust her implicitly might feel that type of way and say certain things. I don't think it's okay. But if it's those individuals that are doing that, I understand the rage and the sentiment, but I am not okay with the language. But on the flip side, what justification do you as a white person have to turn around and shout racial epithets in defense of somebody that looks just like her? Make that make sense. You tell me, how does that work? How does that work that you're trying to quote unquote defend the honor of a young black lady by calling another young black lady racial slurs and epithets? How do y'all rationalize that in your head? This is dumb. And it's stupid. And it shows the level of intelligence that you have, that you're going to even go down that route to even to rise up enough to have enough balls to actually say some crap like that. If they find out who you are, if they identify you, I hope the Everett family sues you. I'm not saying that what she did was justifiable, because she's getting the consequences as a result of what she did. However, what I will say is, she does not deserve racial slurs and epithets being thrown at her. And if anybody out there is doing that, any race, period, shame on you. Highly doubt it's coming from the black community.
To my heart, to see how the whole world was dragging this young lady based on what they thought they saw.
No. It's not what we thought we saw. It's what we saw. I already broke down the video, and everybody else on YouTube has broken down this video inside and out. Nope, nice try though.
Family has experienced racial slurs. They've experienced death threats, and we think unequivocally that those things are unacceptable.
It is unacceptable.
The NAACP released a statement this week saying they are currently reviewing the circumstances surrounding the case, and in the meantime, they send their prayers and best wishes to Alayla Everett and her family.
We feel.
So now, I want you to know. Oh my God. I'm going to get to that later.
We've seen throughout history how the legal system can marginalize our people. We're not going to allow that to happen to Alayla and her family.
In Portsmouth,
Okay. I'm reading something real quick because I want to pull up. Okay. I want to know who, I want the name of the Portsmouth NAACP chapter is. Portsmouth. His name is James Boyd. That guy you saw at the end, the light-skinned dude with the beard and the bald head, that man's name is James Boyd. As a matter of fact, here is a picture of him. I'm going to show you a picture of him because this is him. That's him right here. That's him getting arrested over here. Now, I'm not suggesting that getting arrested is a thing, is a problem. Because if you're committing good trouble, I'm all for you getting arrested for good trouble. However, I believe Mr. James Boyd is out of pocket. And he needs to fall back and let the legal system provide justice in this case. And when I say justice, it may be somebody has a different angle of this, and what she says is 100% true. Highly doubt it, but let's say that there is. Let's say that there is evidence that exonerates her completely. Guess what? That's what the court is for. However, knowing what I know, seeing what I've seen, I don't think she's getting away with this. And what Mr. Boyd said was, from all accounts, this is what they said. Everett, an honor student, is not an attacker. So, because she gets good grades, she can't be violent? Ted Bundy was a genius. Was he not? Was he not violent? As a matter of fact, last time I checked, most serial killers are of high intelligence, which is the reason why they get caught later. They don't get caught right away. So with that being said, I call BS. From all accounts, she's an exceptional young leader and scholar whose athletic talent has been well documented and recognized across our state. Oh, got it. So let me guess. She was supposed to win her leg and she was failing at it because this 16-year-old, somebody 2 years her junior, was about to beat her and she couldn't allow that to happen. She has carried herself with integrity both on and off the field, and any narrative that adjudicates her guilty of any criminal activity is a violation of her due process rights. You're right. But the narrative is there for everybody to see. This is not something of hearsay. We're not going by hearsay, Mr. Boyd. What we're going by is our own two eyes, what we actually can see. Frame by frame, slow motion, even. We're not going by some, verbal account or some parental bias. Oh, he hit my baby, she hit my baby. No, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're going by. That's what y'all are trying to do by having this media blitz. And what you're doing, Mr. Boyd, is you're weaponizing the NAACP in such a way where you are going to lessen its culpability, its capabilities, and its integrity by backing this young lady. I'm going to give an example to a situation where, to this day, two situations actually, to this day, why people technically tend to not listen to Reverend Al Sharpton in cases of racial relations. Tawana Brawley and the Duke lacrosse grape situation, because I don't want to get flagged. In both of those situations, a black woman screamed assault by white men, only to find out later that they were willing participants in sexual activity, or nothing happened at all. And while we were all in tow of trying to support somebody because we believed the person who claimed they were victimized, we didn't do our due diligence and we jumped out the window for both Tawana Brawley and the young lady that claimed that she was SA'd at Duke. Unfortunately, there was even in those situations at least there were claims of something violent happening to them. And as a result of that, and there was a racial component to it. So Al Sharpton was not guilty of quote unquote race baiting. He was fooled just like everybody else was. A lot of people believed it because of the nasty history of our past. It was harder to not believe it than it was to believe it. However, and in those cases, there was no video to go by to either defend the women or to defend the white men. Does that make sense? You're going by the word of another individual that this took place. So it's a lot harder to not believe that this was possible. But the NAACP in Portsmouth is actually utilizing their cachet in a way where it's not going to work for them. They're going to walk out with eggs on their face. Because I am almost certain there's another camera angle. I'm almost certain there's another camera angle. And when that camera angle is demonstrated and shown, it is not going to show that she lost her balance. It's going to show that she wound up and cracked the young lady, Miss Tucker, upside the head. They're going off of one angle. I know what happened. I'm just a person by myself. Nobody's going to believe me. Everett told Wavy. I can admit from the video it does look purposeful, but I know my intentions. I would never hit somebody on purpose because of jealousy. Well, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm reading from her statement. So, it has also been brought to my attention that Mr. Boyd had went to the Lynchburg DA to get the charges dropped because they thought that the quote-unquote white law is coming after Miss Everett, when the truth is the Tucker family is the one who pressed charges. Because even if what they're saying is true, what certain things are being said is true, because let's see. They said Tucker cut in too quickly after the girls merged into the lane. Did you see her merge into her lane before she got hit? Let's run that tape again.
Working with a registered dietitian can be a game changer in achieving your goals. Here's what you unlock through Faye. Most clients pay $0 per session.
I hate when people do that. So let's watch that race again. Let me go right back to it. I'm going right back to it again. So again, you said she cut in too quickly. You said she cut in too quickly. Where is she? See, this is again where I have to again point out, young lady, I do this for a living. I am known to catch kids. I'm known for it. In whatever deviant behavior they're doing, I am known to catching kids in their deviant behavior. Known. Because all it takes is for you to slip up. In your story, or in the fact that there's video, or in the fact that I visually saw you. What's this? How did she cut in? When did she cut in? Where did she cut in at? Did she cut in here? Did she cut in there? Did she cut in there? Wait a minute. Did she get linked up with her? But wait a minute. I might be wrong. Wait a minute. She did. Wait. She did get linked up with her. She locked in with her. Her elbow hit her arm. But the thing is that she's closer to her than the... She's closer to Kaylin than Kaylin is closer to her. Because going into the turn, she's close... Her elbow hit it. So like right here, actually, right here, her elbow hit. Her elbow did hit. But hold on a minute. There is a brief, very brief moment where her baton gets tangled up. But your arm goes back. You said she cut across you. She didn't cut across you. She was next to you the whole time. You still did it on purpose. You did get caught up with her. But that's your cover. You think that's your cover. You think that's your cover. But the problem is you extend it out. And then you reared your arm back. If you were losing your balance, you would have kept flailing. You were in complete control of your balance because look, you didn't run off the track. You never crossed the white line. You never crossed it. You're right here. You never crossed it. You did link up with her. I will give you that. You did link up with her. You did flick. You did do it. You did it. But you flailed up, back. So here's the thing. You flailed. It's not like your wrist did do this. I'm showing you right here. As a matter of fact, let's go back. Your wrist did do this. Your wrist got caught like this. Where my hand is now, if I'm running, I'd be here, not here. Here, back. Here, lost my balance, come back. Here, lost my balance, come back. Not here. Bink! You didn't like the fact that she did that to you. You thought it was dirty. It's not jealousy. You thought it was dirty. But you're playing into the fact that everybody thinks you did it because you were jealous. You weren't. You thought Miss Tucker was dirty. And because what you thought she did was dirty, you were going to teach her a lesson. You're going to cop her upside the head anyway. Because she did pass you, but she passed you under your thought pattern that she ran into you when she was in her lane the whole time. She's in her lane the whole time. She's still in her lane. You, young lady, are too close to her. Are you saying something to her right now? Is her tongue out? I can't see it exactly. I don't know. Nope, it's not. She's breathing. And you didn't hit her twice. You hit her on the arm, but you didn't hit her in the head twice. Anyway, I digress. You'll have your day in court. But going on a media blitz right now is not a good look for you. If you really do have truth on your side, what you will do is stay low and live within the means of your life that you, which is as normal as it can be. But before I go, I want to play this video because even within this, there's some truth to what is being said.
So let's talk about this high school issue that happened a couple weeks ago. A high school track star decided to hit another student as she passed her. She got a little too close for her, and she decided to swing her hand back in the middle of a state track meet and hit her on the back of the head and just continue to keep right on running. But I don't want to talk about that student. I want to talk about the student's parents. Because when our children display a behavior, we have to react as parents. And let me tell you the way that parent reacted. That mother said, I don't need to see a video. My child would never do that. That action of that student rearing her hand back behind her head and hitting that student and continuing to run past her was seen by thousands of people live, was recorded several angles on a video, and has been seen all over the world by millions and millions of people. But that parent didn't need to see it because her child would never do that. Everybody was so surprised at the reaction of those parents. Do you know who was not surprised? Educators all over the place. Cafeteria ladies, librarians, PE teachers, school nurses, resource officers, and anyone that works in a school was not surprised by that parent's behavior because that's what we deal with all the time. Now, I'm all for defending your child. And if you've got a he said, she said, you need to defend your child as best as you can. But let me tell you what we deal with in education. We deal with situations where we have 25 kids that listened to what your child said and listened to what came out of their mouth, watched what they did. We have bus videos. We have videos in the hallway. We have students recording on their cell phone the actions of your child, and it is irrefutable evidence. And what we still have are parents saying, not my baby, not my baby. You need to be your child's defender, protector, and encourager. But at that point, That parent was only a defender defending an action that should have not been defended. She should have been standing next to that child at those news conferences saying, I'm here to stand with my child. I love my child. She is here to apologize to that student, to her team, to her school. This is not behavior that we have ever shown to her. It's not behavior she's shown, and we believe she got wrapped up in the emotion of this track meet, and we are so sorry about that. That is not our child's normal behavior. And we apologize, and she's going to apologize too. But instead, they said that's not what happened, even though there was irrefutable evidence of what went on. Let me tell you who's not surprised with the parents' behavior. Any educator in the world. That is what we deal with all the time. Not most parents, not all parents. Most parents would not do that. But in every school all across the world, that's a parent we have. They don't care what the bus video shows. They don't care what the 25 kids listening to their child said. They don't care what anyone said at the basketball game when everybody in the audience heard what your child said or saw what your child did. They don't want to listen to any of that. They only want to defend their child, and they are making the situation worse for their child. And that's what this parent did. These parents made the situation worse for their child. Nobody in education was surprised at the way the parents handled that, because that's what we deal with every single week.
So, Mr. Jerry Brooksprin is a principal in an elementary school. I don't remember where. I actually saw him live in Las Vegas back in 2022. Wonderful man. Wonderful man. And let me explain something to you. For those of you parents that are out here listening to this, let me explain something to you. Every word that he said was true. There are times where we have video evidence that your child did this. Not my baby. NMB, which is what he calls it. The classic NMB, not my baby. This is so the thing is, what kills me is I'm looking at this video right now. I'm looking at the comments. This is local for me. And these parents have had this kid all over the news crying, saying she tripped. She didn't trip. Her arm got locked in with the other girl's arm. But it was brief. It was momentary. But then that arm went back. She saw the opportunity. She did it. But anyway, she would never hit anyone. But people who know the family are like, yep, definitely something one of them would do. So if y'all see her boo-hooing, just know she did it on purpose, and character before the act is what she's being judged by. So now it's even worse, because now she has a reputation. Or the family as a whole has a reputation, and they're trying to use the media as a means to weaponize, to lower the temperature of the court of public opinion. Now, I will say this. She has a fraction of truth in what she said. Her arm did get locked in with the girl's elbow. As her arm was coming up, the other girl's arm was going back, and that's what snatched her hand back. But if you watch that video, I've played it numerous times already. Go back into this video and go back and watch and see what I saw. At this point, it'd be about what? 7-8 minutes ago? You'll go back and see it, and when you see it, you'll see that she still reared her hand back. When people lose their balance, they don't rear their hand back. Especially if they're about to fall on their face. They lurch forward. And their arms flail. She kept her arm back like she was riding a horse, and she had a billy club in her hand. And she stayed on the track after striking her. Parents, standing by your children is one thing. Standing by your children and condoning or excusing away what your child does is where I and other educators and other people who are in the education field have problems. There was a parent we have been telling that your child is doing X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to go into the specifics because I want to not get into any legal issues. But your child was doing X, Y, Z, not my child. I'm new to the school. When I say new, I'm talking about this is probably day 2. I'm in the school. And on day 2, I'm in the school, I have a negative interaction with this student. Send them to the front office. They got written up. Mom is like, you're all after my kid, this, that, the other, right? There are times as a teacher, I wish I could have an interaction with the parent. But because of the society we live in now, we are too afraid to confront parents. I would have asked this parent straight up, ma'am, I've only been in this building for 2 days. I don't know your child. Why would I have something against your child? If I'm here my second day, this is my second day. This is in my second month where reputation starts to build. I hear things from other teachers about this particular child. Okay, yeah, I heard about you. I don't like you. If that's what was going on, then yes, you would have every right to defend your child. But I am brand spanking new. Never met your child a day in my life beyond day 2. And it's a negative interaction because this child does not want to listen and do what they're told in the classroom, especially when they're acting like a complete knucklehead. Just me. Day 2. I don't know your kid. So why am I having a negative interaction with them? Oh, because I'm negative? But then if you look into the history of your child into the building, they have negative interactions with teachers all the time. So all of a sudden, the new teacher comes in, has a negative interaction. The new teacher must have a problem with your child because of past interactions. But I've never heard anybody. The one thing that you have to understand is that nobody talks about your children until they have to. So what I mean by that is nobody turns around and says, hey, look out for little Johnny because little Johnny's a pain in the behind. They don't do that. Nobody does that. What happens is teacher experienced something with this child, then goes and asks other teachers who had this child the year before or has had this child this current year, hey, what do you think about little Johnny? What's going on with little Johnny? Every time little Johnny comes in my classroom, little Johnny wants to turn around and be disrespectful. Is that a thing? Is that just me? Is that a thing with all of y'all, or is that just a me thing? That they're having a problem with me because did I pee in their Kool-Aid? I did not. I just want to know why this is happening. Do they have emotional issues? Do they have a history? Do they have a disability that I need to know about that might cause this to be such an issue? Because they're not on my caseload and they're not on any of my colleagues' caseload. So do I need to know something about this child? Because they're talking out of pocket, and I want to make sure that before I say or do anything about this particular situation, I am coming into it with all eyes open. Then, once you have all the information, now you proceed accordingly. But when you have a negative interaction with a student and they're in another classroom, and you're observing them in another classroom, and they are observantly disrespectful to the teacher that is teaching in that classroom, that's a whole nother animal. I just want to point that out. I just want y'all to stop and think about that. Not my baby, not my baby, not my baby. I also want to No, the always my baby. I believe everything a teacher says. Don't. There are some teachers out there that just does not like your kid and has it out for them. And any infraction, any slight infraction, they're gonna write them up. Any slight infraction, they're gonna just do whatever. That also happens. So I'm not sitting there saying the not my baby should not be a thing. And I'm not saying that the always my baby should be a thing. But I would like for parents to start using discernment. You don't need to see a video. The video's right there. She told a half-truth. Just to garner favor because she knew what she was doing. She didn't like what was happening, so therefore she took the time to go wind her arm up and crack this girl upside the head. But that's just me. Guys, if you are on at this point in time, go ahead and give me a like. I appreciate it. It'll get the information out to the algorithm. It'll put me out into the universe so that way more and more of you can enjoy the information and the things that I put out. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.